What is going on, everybody? And my camera is crooked. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live Thursday night show. Let me tell you, got a crowd in here already. Wow, got a huge crowd. Early game, man, we always rocking early. Early bird gets the worm. You know what I'm saying? We'll start a poll here. How do I do polls? So, what giveaway do you guys want tonight? Sure, Trailhead, just ask away. What up, Andrew? Let's see what we got in Daily Soul. Stiggy, Trailhead Joe, 95 Turbo Stang, Windows Super Slow, Kamar, Schmidt. Who else am I missing? Anybody? Okay, there we go. We'll just fire up a poll. See what you guys want to do. It's been a busy week. It was a busy week last week. I didn't even get a chance to say that I wasn't doing a live show last week. Last minute, Grid Life was in the Pittsburgh area, so I had to scramble to get the Camaro ready to go out there. And pretty cool. If you guys have never been to a Grid Life event, it's impressive stuff. Yeah, Trailhead, what's your question, man? Oh, awesome, Super Slow. Glad that they finally showed up. Bought an MPVI 2 years back with 4 Universal Crest. Now I have the MPVI 3 from our EP32, and they said that they have to destroy my MPVI 2 to reallocate the credits. Am I missing something? The 2 was never used. Yeah, and so once the credits are applied to a serial number on the device, in order to what they do to change those over is they have to verify it and then basically wipe it out, destroy it, so you don't get free credits. Listen, I'm getting better at shipping. What up, Ken? It was cool. I'd never been to one. And I'll be honest, I'd never been to an event where there's drifting at. So, it was my first time seeing dudes hanging out sideways, having fun. It just reeked. Yes, tuning is my strength. Shipping, not so much. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is a close poll. I'll give it a couple a minute or so more, so we can fire up the giveaway. But yeah, it was worth checking. Well, I'd never been to that facility, Kamar, and wow, it's a shame that facility is potentially shutting down. That is the nicest track facility I've ever been to. So much money in that thing. They're apparently turning it into an AI data center or something. So, sucks. And honestly, that sucks, but at the same time, the thing's out in the middle of nowhere. Wendell, I do not have the hats on the website yet. See, the problem is if I put the hats on the website, people buy them, then I have to ship them. And whenever people buy stuff, I am obligated to ship in a timely manner, whereas if I give stuff away, I don't have to. I don't have to feel bad if it took too long. I had an event at VIR years ago that you could ride in a drift car with Pro Driver. Awesome experience. I bet, Bill. Well, the cool thing is they had both like a skid pad where like the beginners, even though a lot of dudes that were on the skid pad were awesome, then they did on the main track. There's some dude in a Mark IV Super out there just hanging it out. Let's see here. Hey, bro, got an X36 error and HP turns when trying to entire read from my GMC Air 2013. Is there an easy solution I can do it in home without getting another person? X36, I've never even seen that error. And a 2013 Sierra is not anything that would have to be unlocked or anything. Have you hit up HP Tuner support? Because they'll have you pull the diagnostics log, and submit it in. That's a new one for me. Is it worth $200 in credits just to waste the MPVI2? Would you do it to recover the credits? They want to ship back both devices in return. Personally, no. I wouldn't, but to each their own. I don't know what you're talking about, ICT car guy. I don't know who you've been talking to. There's your answer. Okay, we're doing a gift card. Let me set it up. What up, Dennis? Oh, it's tuner locked. That's what the error is. I honestly don't know if there is a way around. Are you just trying to unlock it to tune, or do you want to get the tune off? Because I don't know if there's any way of getting around extracting the tune. You can reflash with a factory tune on top of it, but as far as I know, there's somebody out there, I'm sure, that can do it, that you can send it in and they have some black magic sorcery voodoo that they figured out. Yeah, you're probably out of luck on that one, bud. Sorry. In fact, I've got another guy that's been going through kind of the same thing. How's that? Just put my hat like that. I'm getting comfy. Getting comfy. Let me see. Let me see if I can find anything. There, down. Mike, no. Okay, PCM of North Carolina can do it. It's interesting that they can do it, given that they can't tune. Yeah, I'll throw shades. So it says that HP tuners, if you can prove ownership of the vehicle and have the VIN, that they can help you extract a locked tune. I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but it might be worth emailing the support line and asking. When I sell the Camaro, would pull the car out. No. Spend too much time putting that thing in. It's going with it. It's going with it. I've got a couple things to work on this weekend. So I've been working on the paddle shifters. The multiplexer and the turbo lambic is kind of doo-doo. And so I have, thank goodness for the maker world. I don't know if any of you guys are involved in the maker world, which is all these amazing electronic gadgets that you can get for next to nothing. I spent $70 to buy this thing called an M5 stack and a relay board, and it's literally less than it's like 2 inches cubed. It's so small. It's got a display on it. and I set it up to decode the mux signal from the paddles and the steering wheel and provide outputs, digital outputs to the turbolambic instead of using the built-in turbolambic mux stuff, because it just doesn't work worth a damn, and they've got to refine it. They could probably get it there, but Bill, who would I recommend Virginia area to tune the LS? I honestly don't know very many like shops, so I'm not the guy to ask. I would jump on and ask if you have any local stuff. Jump on Facebook or something like that and ask, and get references. Thoughts on the core and the Camaro? Absolutely love it. And speaking of which, there's if you are running a core, there's a new version of the VCM Live that dropped yesterday, I think it was. It's really good. I'll be doing a video on it very soon. They redid all the menus and stuff, and man, I've been working with the engineering on that a lot, and they've really refined it out. It's got some cool stuff on there. It's got some stuff that I kind of feel like is maybe not necessary but cool. Puncher GTO, no, that's weird. That would show 1 and then slowly go to 1.15. Normally it would go through the warm-up cycle and then just go full lean. But I would pull the sensor out and do an open air calibration on it and see what it does. Oh, hey Justin, what's going on, brother? Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, ask at local car shows or at the track. See who's the local guy. You'll figure it out pretty quick. But yeah, be wary of what you read on the internet. Like, and ask. Like, if you're on a specific platform, jump on the forums and ask. You'll get 20 responses. Like, I'm sure there's a ton of people that say PCM of North Carolina is great, but I know for a fact that most of their tunes are just canned tunes and rinse and repeat tunes, and so they're kind of a waste of money tuner. You don't want to mess with those guys. Or take time and learn yourself, like Mike says. ABT, always be tuning. That's the problem. Like 90%, I would say probably about 90% of guys out there that says that they're tuning. Sure, Joseph says that are canned. What are you talking about, ICT car guy? This is terrible. This is terrible. Hold on. Is this what you're looking at? Is this what you're looking at? Newest generation MPVI. This is on the website, so I can announce it. 10/28 next week, the MPVI 4 is launching. So in case you were wondering, I don't think that they can get mad at me for announcing it early when it's on their damn website, right? You can't click on it, but clearly you know what it is. Well, this is okay. So there's a couple things here, Trailhead. One, we were due for a generation revision. The 3's been out for a few years now. Yeah, and SEMA is just around the corner. So they're announcing, I mean, is SEMA not next week? Oh, no, it's in November. So they're announcing this before SEMA. That's very interesting. I would have thought that they would have waited until SEMA, but Stay tuned. There will be information on it. Yeah, I know. Just look at it. Here's an MPVI 3. Now, if you look at the OBD2 port, there's the OBD2 port on the 4. Look at this chunky boy. Look how big this thing is. Oh man, they're not doing any favors. I guess. I mean, where are you going to go look at the SEMA booth? Sure enough, it's new interface. I will have details on the changes. So, and I'll talk about it a little bit. What drives the changes on these interfaces primarily is support for new platforms and stuff like that. And so whenever they start cracking new platforms, I'll get when it takes voice commands. They have to do some hardware upgrades. Some of that stuff they can do firmware wise, but it doesn't work as well. And so I always tell people, generally, unless you are on the latest and greatest, newest vehicle, there's not a big reason to rush out and grab the newest MPVI. There are going to be some features which I will not talk about right now because I am technically under NDA that I'm excited about for the MPVI 4. And I will say they are more geared towards guys like us, guys that are doing our own tuning. So this is a much bigger evolution. So whenever the MPVI 2 came out was the huge step from the original MPVI that had been out for, who knows how long, a decade or so. Then we went to the 2 Plus and we went to the 3, and those were small iterations. And honestly, what that was support for new platforms. The MPVI 3 really was the one that was set up for global B vehicles. I don't think this one, the newest generation MPVI, is necessarily something specific for vehicles. I think it is to make tuners' lives better. And so I will be retiring my old ones and going over to the 4. But if what you've got works for your setup right now, there's no reason. Hold on to it. Unless they do some kind of smoking deal where you can, do a trade-in and get it for $150 or $200 or something, which they normally do. Okay, where am I at? When will I do a tuning class? Man, that's a great question. So I used to do them a lot more. Just need to do one. I guess I can end this poll now. Make sure you jump in on the raffle. Don't miss out on it. Let me get some stuff settled down and slowed down, and then I'll do one. And generally, whenever I do them, I like to do them by generation. So we'll do like a Gen 3 training class, a Gen 4, Gen 5. I've been driving the Hellcat this week. I really need to get in. Start doing that. Man, it's so hot in my office now that the heater's on. Hey, Cole. The picture's blurry, so it doesn't count as release, even though the data's right below the blurry pic. Well, I mean, you know what it is. There's no doubt. They call it the newest generation MPVI. I don't know why they just don't call it the MPVI 4. Oh, yeah. Red 94. It's probably hard finding the interface for the 2s now, because they went over to that mil-spec connector on the 2 Plus. You did not see one out in the wild. Don't blow smoke up. And if you did, it was a dummy unit. It's been like in the 40s here. Gets cold. How do you go about just-in-timing Gen 3? Tickle those numbers up till you see knock. Stop. First thing, but in all seriously though, go out, log your knock before you do any. Make sure you're not seeing false knock. If you're showing knock before you start adjusting the timing up, back it down. See if the knock stays there, goes away. If it goes away when you back it down, it's real. If you back the timing down and the knock stays there, it's false knock. You need to desensitize the knock sensors. Then you start sprinkling the timing back in once you've got the knock sensors where they're not showing you false knock. Bill, I cannot talk about what may or may not be on the newest generation MPVI. I will say stay tuned. Stay tuned. There will be videos coming out very soon. Ah, thanks, Rick. I appreciate it, man. Well, no, you want to kind of target, Colt, where you're at. So, across the board, like, below a certain... Okay, here. You're talking about Gen 3. It's just easier to open up a tune file and look at it. It's hard to explain. Well, I may know for a fact that there's dummy units out there. I don't think that there's any working units. There might be 1 or 2 working units in the wild. I doubt you saw that one. Okay. We're done talking about it. You guys are going to get me in trouble. Should probably check. I probably got HB tuners texting me right now. Where are you guys coming up with all this information? Who told you that there'd be live tuning? Okay, I'm on the wrong screen. Here we go. Hi, Octane. Let's open up our hive. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so this area you want to leave alone. For the most part. Just want to leave alone. I'm not going to just... Hold on. You guys are... You're getting me confused here. You're getting me confusticated. The 28th. That's Tuesday. Come back... Come back next Thursday and I will talk to you about everything I know, okay? When I can do so without violating something that could potentially cost me money. So, leave this area alone. That I've got highlighted in blue. Leave this area alone. Generally, you know, unless you're wanting to do pops and bangs, you don't need to edit anything in here. So, you got to think about where your curve is. So the thing about it is whenever this thing should eventually look like an inverted, like we follow this kind of like an inverted dyno graph. So you're going to start down here in idle based on where your idle's at, 600, 800 down there. And then as you accelerate, you're going to follow a trail kind of up through here. And they're saying on this is a 2000 Silverado 6 liter. You're probably actually going to follow this trail kind of through here. So where the power's at is going to be down in this range. And so this is generally where I focus on timing. Over here, you shouldn't hit this area. If you're hitting this area, it's because you're probably running a positive displacement supercharger, which will get you into the cylinder air mass to get up in there. But you got to be careful about adjusting timing in this area if you can run in this area, because that is a high load area where it likes to break things if you've got the timing set up wrong. Okay? So I don't like to necessarily adjust this area either. So we've got kind of two areas that we don't want to adjust timing at. That area, that area. That kind of leaves this area back through here. Now, where you're going to pick up timing and power is really probably that area. Because once you get through the max power, well, obviously 6,000 RPM is, here's our max power right here. Our peak torque. That's what we care about. Everybody talks about peak horsepower. We actually care about peak torque because horsepower is just a mathematical representation based off of torque. So we care about generating our peak torque down through here, and that's where our peak torque is going to be at. So kind of focus in on this area. Okay, who asked that? Colt, does that answer your question? So as I said, what you want to do is pull a log, see if you have any knock. And if you do, see where the knock's at. Come into this section and take out a couple degrees. Hit the old negative sign and take out a couple degrees. Go back out and relog. Hold on, let me resume entries on the drawing. Go back out and relog and see if the knock goes away. If the knock goes away, it's real knock. If it doesn't go away, it's false knock. So what we would then look at is make sure that you don't have any burst knock in there. So we look at our versus RPM. Well, we've got burst knock. We've zeroed this out because we don't care about burst knock. It's anticipation of knock. It's pulling timing because it expects there to be knock. So this is already kind of handcuffing you. Zero that out. That'll show up almost every single time on your knock chart. But once we've got, if we have to, we can come in here and adjust our gain. The higher these numbers are, oops, where'd they go? The less sensitive your knock sensors are. But don't just come in here and do what I see a lot of tuners do. Just put 10 across the board. That's how, well, on this one, 8 is the max, so it'd be 8 across the board. No, do not prompt me. So don't do that. You've set yourself up into a situation that is potentially dangerous. So let's back that out. Look on your chart and see kind of what KPA that you're getting it in. Now, I will say that especially on these, since it's one table as opposed to on more modern ECUs, you'll have 8 tables. I look specifically in those range of where I'm seeing it and just tickle it up just a little bit. So if it's 1, I might go 1.5 in that range. I'll go out and relog, see if I'm getting any. And then once I get 0 on the knock table, that's whenever I go back to the advanced table and I adjust where it is. So say we had to take a couple degrees out. We fix that. We know that if we add more timing in this area, we're going to get a knock, but that doesn't mean that I can't add a little up here. So I might start at 2 degrees because this is pretty low. Low 20s, mid 20s on naturally aspirated, pretty easy on a LS depending on the heads. Some LSs even get up into the high 20s. If you get to 30, something's wrong. This is not a small block Chevy. You should not need 30 degrees of timing. Now, that also being said, you're going to get to the point where you exceed the threshold of making power, but you may not have knock. So if you get to a point where you've added 2 degrees and it feels exactly the same, that's where a dyno really comes into it. That's when, if you have access to a dyno, strap it down. See if adding that 2 degrees produces any power. Because if it's not making power, there's no reason to run those extra 2 degrees. You're just setting yourself up to have a potentially unsafe situation because you're running too much timing. You get, you get a bad tank of gas or something like that. Now, that being said, the number one rule when it comes to timing here in the garage is we do not make the low octane table match the high octane table. This is an old school thing that's hung around for forever, where you'll see people just copy this over and paste it in the low octane table. This table is there to protect you. If you get into real knock, we want to have a fallback that we can run off of to run safely, because there is bad gas out there. And if you run this as the same as a high octane table, don't come on here on a Thursday night and complain that you burned a cylinder up because you were throwing 28 degrees at it and you got a bad tank of gas. Leave it some room. So what I will generally do, I will copy this. I will come over. I will paste it in. And then I take 6 degrees out. So I do -6. Boom. So now I have the 6 degrees threshold. And as you can see, that's what it was stock, because those were the areas that we didn't edit on the other one. A 6 degree threshold there that it can back timing off 6 degrees. That should be plenty. Now, if you're boosted, you might need to do more. But for naturally aspirated, 6 will be enough. Okay? Yay! Oh, and make sure your timing's or your fueling's dialed in before you mess with spark. Yes. Raise it up. Find your threshold. Then I normally back it off a degree. Cure tip and stumble E40. Okay, so there's two things when it comes to tip and stumble that you got to be aware of. First one is, if you haven't done your VE table, it will give you tip and stumble all day, every day, forever. So you absolutely have to do your VE table. So I'm clicking on the wrong window. That's why this is moving. Okay, here we go. So VE has to be dialed in. Remember, this is the foundation of all airflow calculations. If this is not dialed in. Oh, I did your VE table. Well, it's good. Your VE table should be dialed in. So the next portion that we look at is transient then. And generally, I just try to adjust it with impact factor gain. So what happens on port injection, this isn't a direct injection issue. Port injection, whenever the valves open up, we get an onrush of air that causes lean tip in. And the way that is combated is by allowing fuel to pool on the walls of the intake manifold. And whenever that air rushes in, it sucks that fuel off the wall to act as an acceleration pump. And so, generally, you can come in here. Man, this is E40. Gotta love it. What a funky table. What a weird table. This is, I will come in here and just bump this up maybe 10% at a time. So 10% be 1.1. Rinse and repeat, and this should fix that. Now, you can also play with the fuel, minimum fuel milligrams. You got to be aware, though, whenever you change this, though, it changes a lot in your tune. Focus on trying to get your transient fuel mass gain. If you can get it fixed just off that table alone, it saves you a lot of headache, because once you start messing with the fuel milligrams, it really will just jack with all kinds of other stuff. Dirty MAF affect that all? Nah, really shouldn't, because MAF, we shift away from MAF pretty heavily whenever we're in a transient state. So whenever we're in tip-in, we're primarily on the VE table. So, and that's where you get into some of these deltas and stuff like this that determine whether or not you're in steady state. Steady state says, so whenever we have MAF enabled, we're always using a blend of VE and MAF, or SD and MAF, whatever you want to call it. Both of them are in play. So if we're 100% SD over here, 100% MAF over here, we're always floating in here somewhere. And the more steady state we are, the more shifted towards the MAF we are. It's doing more work. Whenever we have transients or maybe idle speed fuel, it shifts over to the VE table. Some good questions tonight. Okay. 825. I hear my wife yelling. I hope she's just yelling at the dogs. They must be out going potty. Okay. Yeah. See you, Andrew. If you haven't joined the raffle, exclamation point raffle in the chat right now, get in there. We're about to close it off. We're doing a $50 Summit gift card giveaway. I'm going to close it at 8:27. I'm looking at my clock. It is 8:25. You've got one more chance to get in here. We've got some people that aren't in here. If you have any doubts, do it again like Trailhead just did. If you've already got one, it's not going to give you any more tickets. Sorry. But if you haven't got one, it will give you more, or it will give you a ticket so you can join. There you go. Get in there, Mason. Now you're in there. Perfect. So, better safe than sorry. Make sure you're in on the raffle. Don't want to miss out on a chance to get a free gift card to Summit. $50 doesn't get you much nowadays. Might get you a t-shirt, though. Unless you need a part. Save you a little money on a part. Right? Hey, man. It's all about it. I appreciate you showing up, Mason. Lurking and listening works, too. We've had good crowds. I'm anxious to just keep going. Put it towards a blurry blue picture next week. You guys. 50 is still 50. I tell you what. Let's do this. So I'll give away 5 memberships. How's that sound? Good luck. If you don't know how gift memberships work on YouTube, you've got to go in through the website. God, Shane. I spent a lot at Summit, and they don't give me free shirts, so I don't want to know how much you're spending. You got to go in through the actual website on your computer to YouTube and opt in to free memberships. We'll do a hat next week, okay, Wendell? Well, I've got a lot of the Summit hats. They are junk. I don't know if they really send out hats anymore. Okay, good luck on the free memberships. Oh, I got this from Summit. Orange is one of my favorite colors, too. Dan Smith, William Hughes, Rags to Riches, Greg Hicks, OC Fussell. If any of you guys are in here, hopefully. You know what, Dan? So that's a great question. I will ask my rep. I don't think the code works anymore, which is BS. I need to update the description. No, it's funny that you said that, Red94. I actually got an email from my carrier today, and it's like, get the new iPhone on us, and there's an orange one in there, and I was like, ooh, I don't need one, though. I don't use my phone very often. Okay, we are closing the entries. We're picking a winner. You got to be present to win. All that jazz, blah, blah, blah. Good luck, everybody. Big mind to whammies. And Mike, congratulations. I know Mike's still in here. Congratulations, Mike. You, of all people, should know the drill. Shoot me an email over at info@garage, or reach out through the website at the Contact Us. And I will get you your gift card. I say that. Maybe Mike left. Mike. Wake up, Mike. Oh, there he is. Okay. Congratulations, Mike. Okay, listen. Join us next Thursday, because clearly we will be doing a show next Thursday. For some reason, there will be some content coming out probably on Tuesday. since we know that something's happening on Tuesday. Well, I'm not doing a live show for the release. I've got to record some pre-recorded. Mike, don't be texting and driving. I've got to record some content this weekend that'll probably drop on Tuesday. I'm not telling you what it's about. It's funny, Bill, that you say that, because the core, they added AI to the core. So, is it true the new MPVI will only cost 1 credit to unlock Gen 3 PCM? I would not be surprised at all, Red 94. I can't say one way or the other, as I said. But Tuesday we will know all the details. And if that's the case, that's a pretty good reason to get into it. But here's the thing. If the new one costs 1 credit, technically the old one should cost 1 credit too, because as far as I know, they use the same credit system. They have since the 2. Since they went to the universal credit system. Hey, Elmo. Appreciate it, man. Hopefully you're here for the rest of the show. If not, you're catching it right at the tail end. But show up next Thursday if not. So, man, love seeing new faces on the live show. But you guys know it's a tune me up Grok. I've not even looked into Grok. I only use OpenAI stuff. Don't ask me why. Red 94, I don't know that they will, because honestly, 2 credits to tune is dirt cheap. If you look at the cost of entry, you're talking $500 to tune a Gen 3. You're really, there's alternatives that you can do it for free, you know. But I've had decent luck with ChatGPT 5 so far, Schmidt. Well, on the Gen 3s, it's not an issue because they're PCM, so you're kind of unlocking both at once. It's Gen 4s that you have to start unlocking transmissions. Oh, speaking of which, I finally jerked the ECU out of the Colorado and sent it in this week, so hopefully it'll be back in the next couple of days so I can start looking at the Turbo Max tune. Could be interesting. And then, I know I say it almost every show, but it's about time to start diving into Dodge tuning. It's way overdue, and I apologize for that. This core stuff, I just did not expect it to eat so much of my life up doing R&D and troubleshooting. Oh, Schmidt. Sorry to hear that, bro. Not the Baby Max, the Turbo Max. Not the Duramax, the 4-cylinder gas. So, sorry to hear that, Schmidt. Good luck on your job search. And triple read what that thing spit out, because there's some funky stuff in there that are dead giveaways that it was... Even if you're like putting in all the details and just having it reformat and making it look better, there's some stuff that it has a bad tendency of doing that screams AI. And here's the bad thing. Nice trail. Here's the bad thing with job. It's not from our standpoint, but it's bad. Well, it is bad because it affects it. But if you're looking for a job, whenever you submit stuff now, 99% of the time, AI scans through your resume and stuff before a human ever sees it. And people are getting their resumes kicked out for jobs they're totally qualified for. LQ4. What generation is the LQ4, guys? LQ4. I mean, technically, you can run any of them on any port injection on a third generation. But what did the LQ4 come with? It's a third gen. Looks like a third gen, right? The early 6 liter. So, well, here's the thing. Here, I'll show you, Bill. And then I'm wrapping it up. But so if you got an ECU that looks like this one, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen again. That looks like this one that has the 2 long breadboard wafer boards, the blue red or green red. This is a Gen 3 PCM. This is a powertrain control module. Now, whenever we go into Gen 4 and beyond, we have ECMs and TCMs. We've got engine control modules and trans control modules, so they're 2 separate modules. Gen 3, though, they were PCMs. This controls the transmission and the engine. Okay? Okay, guys, you know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage, and as usual, remember, ABT, always be tuning. See you guys next Thursday.